Happy Saturday. I'm hopping on here a little bit late, but I'm in the middle of doing a 7-day series, and I'm doing it on the topic of 7 reasons why you should start an online business. And specifically, my story is with network marketing. And I'm biased. I've been doing this 5-6 years now, but I think there's so many benefits of network marketing because unlike other online businesses that you could start up, you don't have to invent a product or, if I were to start a clothing boutique, I'd have to buy the real estate or rent the real estate and buy the inventory and hire a buyer and people to work the shop. And there's just so many benefits to me of network marketing because the business model is completely set up and you get the training and it's just very simple to follow. But also I know that because I felt this way myself, I felt that there's a stigma, and even the name is controversial in and of itself, network marketing. And we've heard before, is it a pyramid scheme? And first of all, those are illegal, but I'm going to share some information from a book I'm reading and share some of the criticisms, because if you're thinking about seriously starting an online business, which there's so many reasons you should. I'm going to go over the benefits in one of my later topics in the later days. But sorry, my daughter. There's so many benefits, but I also think it's important to address the criticisms because it does have that stigma. So the 4 that I'm going to talk about today is addressing, is it a pyramid scheme? That's one of the criticisms. Another criticism is you have to get in early to succeed. Another one is that it's oversaturated. Another one is I'm not like those people, and I'll cover those 4 today. I'm going to do a part 2 series because I didn't want this to get too long. And the next is I don't have time. I don't want to make money off my friends, and it has a high failure rate, and oversimplifying what it takes. So I'll address the first few topics today, and tomorrow I'll do a part 2. But this is all, I'm getting this information from this book called The Flip-Flop CEO, which I love the name of it because who doesn't want to be a flip-flop CEO or live the laptop life or have that freedom? But it really does address a lot of the criticisms and the benefits and stuff like that. So that's where I'm getting a lot of this information. But they just say that, one of the top objections is that, it's a pyramid scheme. And let's see, what does it say? So why is the word pyramid taboo? But think about it. Most organizations, probably the one that you work for, government, schools, corporations, are organized in a pyramid structure. You have a CEO at the top, you have middle managers, and then you have a lot more employees at the bottom. And that goes for the amount of money people make as well. You have the people at the bottom making not as much, and the CEO at the top making a lot of money. And that's where there's some criticism. But pyramid schemes are not bad in and of itself in a form of an organization, but pyramid schemes are not good, and those are illegal. So I'll kind of address that. So most people think that a pyramid scheme is an organization where one or a few sit at the top and make all the money while the masses at the bottom do all the work. Right? That's not a pyramid scheme. That's probably the company you work for, like your government or the schools or hospitals. Those are all based on that model. It's perfectly legal. And think about it. There are very few employees that make more than their CEO. But legitimate network marketing companies don't look anything like a pyramid, actually. So that's really fascinating. Everyone starts at the exact same place. So it's more of like a horizontal line, and anyone can make it to the top, but people excel at different rates, and people can make vastly different amounts of money even being at the same level. So anyone can make it to the top. Some people make it in months, some take years, and some never get there. So it's actually more of a level playing field, like a horizontal line. It's not based on a pyramid at all. In fact, your sponsor, you can end up getting more than your sponsor in network marketing, where that would be really hard to do probably in your typical organization, to make more than the CEO. Like a lot of people are earning more than the person who referred them. That is possible. But the biggest misconception in network marketing is that the person who referred you is, taking advantage of you or making money off of you. And that's just so interesting, because actually you can leapfrog over that person. And in my case, I have the most amazing sponsor, and they're not making money off of you at all. The only reason you make money off of other people if you recruit them is if you help them be successful, which is actually a really cool built-in way in the organization, because my sponsor, I call her my mentor, my coach, and she's one of my good friends. She's incentivized to help me succeed, which is amazing. So she wants to help me. She coaches me and she helps me achieve my goals, which, you may or may not have that situation in with your boss or your manager. They're not necessarily incentivized to help you get ahead. So I think that's actually a pretty big misconception. They talk about there's two different kinds of pyramid schemes, and one is actually a Ponzi scheme, where it doesn't even involve a product or service or business at all. It's actually a scam, like the Bernie Madoff situation. And so I think there was some misconception around network marketing, that people were just recruiting and there wasn't actually a product. But these are heavily dismantled now and regulated, but they do happen. Like the Bernie Madoff situation a few years ago with investments, they do happen. There was no product or service. But legitimate network marketing companies are completely different. They sell real products and services that are actually in demand. They do not compensate network marketers for recruitment alone. Like I said, you only get paid if you help someone succeed. You don't get paid for just recruiting someone. And they're only paid based on the amount of sales you get. So I really like, they have like a little chart right here. And on one side it says, pyramid schemes are sham products. There's not even a product there. The consultant commissions are purely paid on recruiting, and there's huge enrollment fees and buy-ins required. Legitimate MLM companies have products that have legitimate societal demand, and they're competitively priced. The consultant compensation is tied to the product or service, or the distribution of sales, or the recruitment of successful reps. And they have really low startup costs. Like my company is only $50 to join, which is amazing because you get your own website and a global business. We're in 25 countries. So this is really interesting. I'll kind of summarize this, but basically they said that like 30 years ago, there were no regulations, and there were some really bad companies out there that basically gave the whole industry a really bad rep. The internet wasn't around, so it cost there were really high startup costs, like $10,000 to join. And then because we didn't have the internet, people had to buy that product, and some of them got shut down. And so now they had to pay that. They had a huge amount of money that they've put in. And so basically, there was huge buy-ins, and a lot of them got shut down. So, but now the industry has a ton more regulation. The FTC is actually incredibly strict, especially lately. I've heard even if you make any income claims, you can risk losing your business, which is really fascinating. Yeah, basically regulations are very prominent now. They weren't 30 years ago. But just like the Bernie Madoff situation, just because there was a Ponzi scheme out there doesn't mean you're not going to make investments. Same with network marketing. Just because there were bad companies out there 30 years ago doesn't mean you shouldn't consider this as a viable business option, either buying a product or service or joining a company, if that makes sense. So make sure to do your due diligence though, because there are some bad companies. There are still some companies that do get shut down. And believe me, network marketers themselves want these regulations more than anything, because we work really hard and we want to be compensated, and we don't want our business to go away. So do your research if you're going to join a company, and make sure it's a legitimate company, that it has a legitimate compensation plan. My company's been around 25 years. So if you're skeptical, do your research. The Direct Selling Association, www.dsa.org, is a great place to start if you want to do some research. So that's the first criticism I'd want to address. I thought that was really interesting that 30 years ago, there were a lot of bad companies, and that stigma still kind of lives on today. But pyramid schemes are illegal, and the ironic part is network marketing firms aren't organizationally structured that way. Most other organizations, probably the ones you work for, are structured as a pyramid. So that's the first thing. The next one is that you have to get in early to succeed, which is just, it's hard for me to understand that objection because I don't really understand it. It's hard to understand an objection that we don't really understand, but we'll give it a try. And it's just like it's not too late to get in, or like you missed some sort of a boat. But yeah, just basically just do your research on the company and join a company that you want to join, because network marketing companies, just like any other business, have growing pains when they start up. And so some people think that you have to get in early, but I just don't think that's the case. Like I said, my company's been around 25 years and I would rather be with an established company. It's more based on your skill and your motivation and your production versus the company. So that's all I had to say there. Saturation, this is an interesting objection. The assumption is behind it is that when the market becomes saturated with a particular product, the demand will run out. Or when the market gets saturated with salespeople, there will be a shortage of customers to go around. Which I have known this. I know there's one company in particular where I have a lot of people I know that do it, and so that might be harder to have success maybe in that industry. But this just isn't true, because they say technically everyone could have a certain type of product, like a mattress or a refrigerator or computer, but that doesn't ever eliminate the demand. And network marketing companies intentionally get into industries where products need to be reordered, like vitamins or face creams and things like that. And so the whole business is kind of designed to bring people back for more. So that's an objection is, people might not need, like if everyone already has an iPad, like are they going to need to rebuy it? But like you want to get the latest version, right? And so that is just addressing that objection. The next one, and this is a good one, I'm not like those people. So there's also like a stigma like, oh, I'm not one of those network marketing people. But the good news, I like how they put this. The good news is that network marketing is an equal opportunity business. The bad news is that network marketing is an equal opportunity business. So anyone can get in. You don't need any education, degree, diploma, certificate, license, resume, interview, just a social security number, which is good and bad. There's some bad eggs in it, just like anything else, but it's also really cool because there's more women millionaires and six-figure earners in this field than any other field. 80% of six-figure earner women have home-based businesses. So, I think that's really cool because there is still some discrimination in traditional organizations. But in network marketing, it doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, your gender, your background. You determine your success, which I really love about this. But it can be a magnet for misfits that and weirdos. But it has nothing to do with the legitimacy of the business model itself. And in fact, ironically for me, I think I've met some of the most incredible people I've met in my life. Some of the most inspiring, confident, empowering, helpful people that want to help you and rise with the tide. That's what keeps me in it, is some of the people living out their dreams and, living these lives that their businesses have and their success have enabled them to do, travel. One person bought a sailboat and they sailed the world for a year and worked their business on their sailboat and things like that. I think it's just really inspiring, whatever your dreams are. And then there's a quote by Thomas Edison: "Who you are will show up no matter what you do. If you're professional now, you'll be professional in network marketing. If you're ineffective in life, you'll be ineffective in network marketing." So who you are, you'll bring to that, to your field no matter what. So, there are a few crazy people, but for the most part, that's very much the exception. And in fact, like I said, I've met some of the most amazing people, and that's kind of what keeps me in it, is the people I've met that dream and are driven and have shared goals. And the business model is legitimate and fair, and you'll find the people that are ethical, smart, and fun and love the company. So that's where I'm gonna leave it today. I'll do kind of like a part 2 tomorrow of some other objections, but I would love to hear of what you've heard. If you have any objections like you want to share, or maybe the opposite of like what it's done for you, but I thought I would hop on here and address some of them here.